Hello. Welcome back to our regularly scheduled programming. Um, I hope you've all had a good day, a good week. Um, I need to turn this down just for myself. Oh, never mind. Okay. We are back to books, and what a time to get back to books. Despite spooky season being here, and I actually have books that I had intended to read for spooky season, we're still in sequel summer because the book slump hit. And I'm delayed. Hang on a second. Okay, that's better. So we are back in it. We are doing the Summer Queen. I apologize in advance. I've already drank half my tea, and I woke up very very sore this morning. So we're gonna see how long this goes. Um, but I do have heat on my neck, so that's helping. Uh, it's one of those things of you didn't know that you could just sleep wrong, and then you do it, and you're like, I'm not old enough for this to be a problem, and also, why is this even a thing? Um, but yeah, so we are going to get into sequel summer. This is the Summer Queen, which was the one I wanted to end the summer on. Um, and actually, I think I'm gonna switch our last sequel book. So we're gonna do a spooky one. Um, because a sequel has come out in the interim, and I don't know if I'm down to read the next Assassin book, just because those take so long to read, and coming out of the reading look, this book helped a lot, but if I had gone with my original intention, which was to do the Assassin's Quest, we would still be in AORC. There's absolutely no way I could have gotten through that one. Not with the way my brain was working. So, let's get into the Summer Queen, shall we? As per usual, this is meant to entertain and inform. I don't hold any of the rights to the works described. I hope you enjoy. There is a fun little caveat. We'll get to that in a minute. Uh, this is The Summer Queen by Rochelle Hassan. It is such a delight. As per usual, the publishing details. This is published, that's the wrong year. Wait, wasn't this published this year? Did I forget to change the year? No, I did change the year. It is 2024. Okay, I thought I was losing my mind. For some reason, I thought The Buried and the Bound was 2 years ago. Anyway, Roaring Press Books 2024. Yes, it's part of the series. It's the second book in the Buried and the Bound trilogy. If you didn't check out The Buried and the Bound, be aware this entire recommendation is going to be spoilers for you, because it's the sequel. I will say this before I go any further. I don't think this book is complicated. I don't think this book is high literature. I think this book is an absolute rollicking good time. I think it is fun. I think it is the good side of predictable. And, does it have weak points? Sure. Okay, I can hear myself. Hang on. Will I hear people say, "Oh, it's a terrible book because here are some flaws"? No. Everything has flaws. There is no perfect book. moving on. This is your caveat. This is the original cover of The Summer Queen. The reason there is a caveat on here is I couldn't confirm that this is Helen Mask. However, I felt fairly confident because the characters looked very close to the ones on the first cover, which were Helen Mask. So, we are going to do a little bit of assuming here. I'm assume this is Helen Mask. Even if it isn't, please go check out Helen Mask. She is an illustrator that works both in ink and digital, and has done a ton of stuff, including stuff for Critical Role. It's all got a great vibe. Very, very Muka. And now for the cover I have. I have this cover, which is still by Yasmin Wooster, who is a German illustrator. I have this cover, which is because it's the counterpart to the cover I have for The Buried in the Bound. And if if they're going to offer me covers that match, I'm going to buy the matching cover. I am simple. I see matching covers. I buy matching covers. Also, this is just a great illustration. Look, if this cover is story cover, which it kind of is, this cover is vibes. Not all of the vibes, but enough of the vibes. So about the author, this is still Rachel Hassan. She writes middle grade and YA novels. She has confirmed that this is a trilogy, and I can't wait for the third book to come out because I liked the first two so much. And why is my mouth not tracking? Why are you not tracking? If I had more space on my desk, I would have a light. It would probably help. Alright, what you need to know. This is a book about magic, family, love, and fair folk. If you remember, or if you've gone back and rewatched lately, you will know that this is the exact same setup for The Buried in the Bound. There's a reason for that. This is a book that builds. You have come in with a foundation. This is building on top of it, and it's building on literally all of the same themes. It is an absolute delight, though. Vanilla tea. So, there are spoilers beyond this slide. This is important. There are spoilers both for The Summer Queen. I'm going to try to limit those. But also there are spoilers for The Buried in the Bound. If you haven't read it and you want to read it blind, I highly recommend you do so. Go read it, come back to this later if you want to, or read them both and come back to this and hear my opinions. My attempted non-spoilery opinion. My opinions are they're both great. You should read them. But some things beyond this slide, there's no escape from them being spoilers for The Buried in the Bound, and some I will try to limit the spoilers for this book. Let me put it that way. Alright. So your main characters are the Blackthorn Coven. You have Tristan, who is a loyal necromancer who is honestly the best. I think of these three, I absolutely adore all three of them for very different reasons. Tristan is absolutely the one that I'm just like, I want all of these chapters from his point of view. I don't. Let me say that right now. This is a multi-point of view story between these three people's points of views. I do not want to narrow it. Okay? Let me make that abundantly clear. This book is great. Please do not take that as serious. But also, Tristan is, a wonderfully loyal being, and I adore his character so much. He just needs a really nice hug. and he's just the best. Az, or Aziza, is a self-taught hedge witch who is trying to keep her promises. So, spoiler number 1, major spoiler for The Buried and the Bound. The bond between Tristan and the hag who owned him couldn't be broken, could only be moved. So he is technically bound to Aziza. Magically. And it's kind of a emotional connection, not truly words from what I gathered, but more vibes and feelings. So there's that. She's also still trying to keep her promise to the librarian from the first book who disappeared, and she's trying to reunite her with her family, and there's some bumps in that road. We'll get there. I'll promise I'll talk about that briefly. And then you have Leo, who is still a cursed boy trying to find and remember his true love. I mean, he's trying to save his sister in this book. Ignore all the true love nonsense. Except, no, not really, because it is the underpinning of his whole character, and he struggles with it throughout. And oh my gosh, his true love is literally right there, and you just want to shake him by the shoulders and be like, fall in love again. He's such a sweetheart of a disaster. He is... How do I explain him politely? Leo is basically, if you took Derek from The Swan Princess, but instead of being dumb and misogynistic, you made him insanely loyal to the people he loves, specifically the people he loves, you would have Leo. So willing to first one to raise his hand, first one to jump, first one to believe a person, first one to assume the best. He is a sweet, sweet boy who really shouldn't be messing around with fairies, but he loves his sister. So, spoiler number 2. In the last book, we found out his sister Hazel is in fact a changeling. So that is where the trying to save his sister comes in, and where the Summer Queen title comes in, is because this book takes place in the fairy realm. I will try to talk on that briefly later without spoiling too much. They are a disaster trio. I adore them. Other honorable mentions. The new librarian boy who annoys the living tar out of Az because he's not the Selkie. He is wonderful. He's not in it as much as I would like, but I think if he was in it more, I wouldn't like it. It's kind of like having those songs where you like a specific 30 seconds and you're like, I wish the whole song was that. But if the whole song was that, I don't think I'd like it as much. Yeah, he's like that. I really liked him. He is, he's a hoot and a half. You also learn about Az's parents' coven, which, without spoiling anything, in the first book you found out they had one, but they abandoned them when they tried to subdue the hag. There's a couple extra bit of things that you find out in this one, namely that while they were off trying to subdue the hag and dying in the process, one of their coven members was watching over Az. Baby little Az. So, yeah. But they are your main characters. Those 3 are also your POV characters, like the first book. It changes POV per chapter. Unlike the first book, you get to about chapter 21. That's a good ending for the book. There's another 200 pages. Yeah. So this book feels like it has two endings. And they're both very good. So, magic. Did you like the magic in the first book? Did you like the D&D elements in the first book? The magic in it and the way magic interacted with the world? Good. We're turning that up to 10,000 because we're going to Elfheim, basically. What did they call it in the... Hang on. I am so used to it's the Feywild or... Oh, it is Elfheim. Okay. There's so many different words for the Underhill or the Feywild or Elfheim or... Yeah. That I forget which books call it what, even when it's the last book I read. So if you liked the way magic worked in the last one, it's like that turned up. There are elements of it that feel a little more like the magic in Howl's Moving Castle than D&D because the rules are a bit softer than they are in D&D. For example, I'm gonna derail a little, but for example, one of my favorite classes to play in D&D is Sorcerer. Very fond of them. But sorcerers and wizards cast the same spells. And while in flavor text they cast them differently, in reality they cast them the exact same. In this, the difference between a necromancer's magic and a hedge witch's magic and a fairy's magic, there are much clearer like lines. And I will say something that came up specifically in this book, specifically about hedge witches. Well, kind of about the necromancer too, but mostly about the hedge witches. Was something that made me think of the Tamora Pierce books, specifically her Winding Circle books, because it made me think of the difference between an academic mage and an ambient mage. And I'll be honest, any book that makes me think of Tamora Pierce and not think, oh, this is ripping this off, but oh, this is a similar idea and I'm familiar with it and I really like it, is good in my book. If you make me think of one of my favorite series, it's probably a good thing. Family. So this one is all about family of choice. There's a little question of family of blood in there because changeling, but really that's only flavoring for the emphasis of family of choice. And another thing is, when is family of blood family of choice? Because that also comes up. When your blood family didn't raise you, your family really is who you choose. But it's also about how do I do this without giving things away? The braid that started in the last book between your main three, basically, while before it was kind of a, yeah, this is vaguely braid shaped. Yeah, this is a full-on 3-strand braid that occasionally has other strands that come in and have like pretty decorations on them, but it all comes back to the 3 of them. It's an absolute delight is what it is. Love. Most of the love in this one is familial, but it's also about the pursuit of true love and what does love look like. Spoiler, love is an action. In this book, love is an action. Because, and I'm going to give this fun spoiler for Leo. Leo is chasing his true love. He has been since book 1. It's part of the curse he carries. He turned 16, I think, and forgot his true love. Like, mind blank, wiped from memory, doesn't remember his face or his voice or anything about his true love, but knows he has one. And he kind of gets feelings and vibes when he dreams, and so that's kind of how he's chasing. But who boy is Leo the embodiment of love is not a word, love is not a feeling, love is an action. His sister things happen, and the first thing he does is go after her and tell his buddies, hey, I'm going after her, and they don't tell him, oh no, she's gonna be fine. They're like, fantastic, we're coming. He is the first one who's like, oh, this thing seems hard, let me help you with it. Oh, I don't want my friends to pay this price, let me pay this price. Oh, I know how to drive, so I'll provide the car. Like, Leo is the living embodiment of love as an action. Not that Tristan and Az are far behind that, and honestly, Leo was the most normal out of the three, so with Leo, he's good with words. He's good with words with people, because the other two can handle words with non-people. Well, I should say with non-humans, not non-people. But because Leo's good at talking, it would be really easy to make him a love is a word, love is what you say kind of person. And that's kind of what he pursues. He pursues love as a feeling, but he lives love as a verb. Meanwhile, his buddies who are bad at talking to people and showing their emotions are very much love as a verb, because there's no other way for them to be. And it's so sweet, because with some caveats, it's such a the familial love. It's the best friend who basically isn't a friend anymore. They're too close for that. They're a sibling. It's so sweet. And like, while the first book they were all figuring themselves out separately and then they came together, this book they're already together and they're still trying to figure themselves out, but it's no longer I have to figure myself out on my own. It's let's figure this out together, and maybe you'll see things about me that A, I don't want you to see, but B, that I didn't see about myself. And maybe I'll have to believe you, and maybe I won't believe you, but maybe I'll want to believe you. And that's not just Tristan, even though it really sounds like I'm just describing Tristan here. No, I adore the way these books are written. Now, fair folk, we're in the other world for 3/4 of this book. It is very much a old school there and back again type story of you start in the familiar, you go to the other world, and you come back and deal with whatever fallout there is. There's less fallout in this book, I will say that. Do you want courts? Absolutely. You have 2 major courts and a whole bunch of minor courts. You've got the summer court, you've got the winter court, you've got a couple of courts in between that are named, and send liaisons. Anyway, you're mainly in the summer court. Spoiler. You want the Wild Hunt? Absolutely. I love the way they did the Wild Hunt. I like the way they incorporated it. I'm going to tell you nothing else about it other than it exists. You want attractive but very inhuman fairies? That's all you get. Like, there's one who's human-ish, but he's not attractive. And then you've got a whole bunch of like really attractive people, but also they're so not human that they're attractive, but they're not. Like, there's a quote unquote knight with a spider helmet, and then you find out he's actually got the like extra eyes that a spider would have. You have fairies that it's like, oh, they look like moonbeams, but their eyes are like amber, and they're wearing like a necklace of dreams for one of them, and then it's like, oh, that's pretty, and then they start like describing them, and you're like, the description is beautiful, and then you like picture it in your head, and you're like, I would not want to be anywhere near that. One of the princes, he's described as this, handsome antlered knight on a horse that seems to be made of like pollen and amber light. Very like great description. And then they describe like, you get vibes off of him. And Az straight up starts calling him the Wasp Prince and the Wasp Knight, because those are the vibes. And as soon as she describes him like that, and you read the previous description of him, you're like, oh no, that is in fact the description that was given. It's just a recontextualization. Also, do you want a tiefling illusion that I'm not gonna tell you what it does? You absolutely get it, darlings. You absolutely get it. Somebody gets slapped in an illusion. Very tiefling, very attractive. I am a sucker for a good illusion, magic scene, and also tieflings. Not called a tiefling, of course. It's a fairy with horns, but also. Look, unless they specifically say antlers, basically every time they describe a fairy with horns and they tell you which animal horns they are, I'm like, oh, they're actually like bone horns. As opposed to like antlers, which, yeah, I know are technically bone, but also are more tree horns in my brain for some reason. Anyway, point being, anytime that it's something like, a ram or an antelope or an ibex or anything like that, I'm like, cool. This is a tiefling. It's like, this is a tiefling without that word. Which I know, considering like satyrs and things are things I shouldn't be like absolutely defaulting to. Oh, that's a tiefling. But then they do things like, oh, it's got a tail. Yeah, that's a tiefling. Unless it's a goat's tail or something like that, where it's absolutely fuzzy and not scaly. If they're like, oh yes, and they have a tail, I'm absolutely going straight to tiefling. But yes, the fair folk are great. If you thought the wordplay and bargaining and talking in circles was fun in the first book, this book has more of it. It's even better. It's way more precise in this because dealing with actual fair folk. If you didn't like that, this book might be hard. I absolutely adore it. I love the way this book it gets right down into the nitty gritty of the fair folk. They have their own rules, their own laws, their own morals. They are not the morals of humans, and at no point, at most points, let me make that caveat. But because Leo and Tristan are silly boys sometimes. But at very few points do they ever pretend to be otherwise. So, for some further recommendations, Wild Magic by Tamora Pierce. This is not, in fact, part of the Winding Circle books that I mentioned earlier. This is actually, oh, how do I explain? So I picked this one as the recommendation because there's a couple of things that happen in this book that make me think of it. There is the main character of Wild Magic has magic that deals with animals. Let me just put it that way. And she's good with animals. She can speak to them and understand them and make herself understood to them. Kind of similar to the Assassin's books, only it's more direct and also not illegal. Highly recommend it. It is not the first book in that world, but it is the first book in that quartet. For a while, all Tamora Pierce wrote were quartets. That's not a knock or a shade, that's just a fact. Second recommendation is A Tempest of Tea, which is the book that I will be hopefully reading the sequel to. And it is the one about vampires in alternate world, alternate history. It deals with a lot more political intrigue and stuff, similar to this book, but not. That one, it's a little more overt. In this one, yeah, there's political intrigue, but that's not the point. Like, yeah, that's happening and they have to deal with it and are directly involved with it in some cases. But, like, the point is other stuff. Squire's Tales by Gerald Morris is another one that is about the fair folk and going elsewhere and coming back. The whole series is fantastic, but start with the first one. This is the first one. I'm fond of Squire's Knight and His Lady, but start with this one. And then Tithe by Holly Black. I haven't read Tithe in a while. And I have mixed feelings about it. Because I remember I enjoyed parts of it and disliked other parts. But it is another fairy tale. It is another other world. And dealing with the courts and dealing with the nonsense that is fairy rules versus human rules. Also, I really like the way Holly Black writes. If I get around to it, I should recommend some of her books on here. But yeah, so that is it for that. Let me just hide. Boop. There we go. So that is the recommendations. Yeah, so hopefully I will be back up and back to reading as per usual. There are a couple of things coming up. So first of all, I hope to do my not my last sequel, but last sequel for the year. Should be A Steeping of Tea or A Steeping of Blood. It's the sequel to A Tempest of Tea. So that should be the one for next time. But also let me make sure I did my math correctly. Hang on. Let me go. Look, I don't have to spell correctly. I just need you to give me... There we go. Let's see. Okay, so we have both weeks in November. The first time that I would normally stream in December, I am going to be out of pocket. So we will be taking that week off. And then the next time is Christmas Eve. So, tentatively we will be here, but I may, um, I may have family obligations. So, uh, I will see if I can make that up. Maybe do some like Saturday streams instead, or the alternating weeks. Um, that might be a little rough. The off weeks for this are D&D weeks, so we'll see how that all goes. Uh, but that is the plan. Um, I know we took a brief detour into Final Fantasy XIV. Um, Hopefully, y'all enjoyed that. I may do a quick stream this Saturday. I'm gonna put this out there. I may do a quick stream this Saturday, mostly because I know that there's a seasonal event going on, and I'm very close to being able to do the event. So I think I have like one quest left to do for MSQ, and then we can do the event. So I may do that. That would be a super short stream, but it would be an off schedule stream basically. Um, to grab the event item for the year. Uh, but yeah, um, I hope y'all have all enjoyed it. I know, um, I honestly I have been in kind of a reading slump, and I don't know why. It I'll be honest, I read this book in 2 days. It's 400 something pages. It took me about 4 hours, but I did it over 2 days, and I don't regret it. It's kind of why I'm leaning towards the other sequel, The Steeping of Blood, instead of The Assassin's Quest, because I know Assassin's Quest is probably really well written, but I also know it's going to be an absolute slog to get through, and I don't know if I'm up for that right now. So something is better than nothing, and I feel like that something should be enjoyable for everybody. And what's more enjoyable than vampires and tea? Don't answer that. Nothing is more enjoyable than vampires and tea. All right. Well, if I needed a reminder that my book recommendation streams are actually seriously short, I guess this is it. Um, I hope you'll all have a good rest of the week, and I will see you in 2 weeks with uh, a vampire book. Have a good week. One last thing, darlings. I have a handful of books that I haven't read yet that I bought just for me. But two of those are the Legend and Lattes books. Would you want me to do recommendations on those? Let me know.